Welcome back, guys. Today we're talking about what makes a caliber burn barrels. What is going on? Why does that happen? And the confusion is that people think it has to do with speed, and it really doesn't, because it's not about the actual velocity of the round when it leaves the barrel. What it is the relative velocity and pressure versus the diameter at the chamber. It's when that bullet engages the throat of the barrel, the beginning of the rifling. It's shoving its way into the rifling. How much wear does it put on that? Because a larger caliber moving slower at that moment, and I don't care what it is when it gets to the end of the barrel, but in that moment is less wear. The friction is spread over a larger area. The pressure is over a larger area, and there's less wear. And remember, the diameter of the bullet is just over three times the the circumference of the barrel of the bullet is three times plus a little bit. It's pi, okay? The diameter. So if you have a smaller bullet, it's much shorter around, much narrower circumference. That means that this pressure on the throat increases rapidly as you shrink the bullet if your pressure stays similar. Which is why things like 6.5 Creedmoor versus a similar pressure 30-06, 308 kind of round is such a higher wear round. If you have a very small diameter bullet, all that pressure is concentrated on a smaller surface and it wears it out very quickly. If you look at the pressure curves of anything from well, let's not go. I was going to say 22 long rifle, but let's not go that far down. But say 30-30 through 300 Weatherby Magnum. It's really not that big a range. I mean, it is in the absolute sense of that's a lot more pressure. But really, you're talking small multiples here. Like you're still in single digit multipliers. And I'm not sure what 30-30 is versus 300 Win Mag or Weatherby, but it's probably a third of the pressure. I'm just guessing there, so don't hold me to that. I may put it in the area up here, when I edit this, but probably not. It doesn't matter. So say it's even four times. There's four times the pressure on those faster rounds, right? Well, the diameter of those bullets is not noticeably different, right? So you've multiplied the pressure on the friction, the damage you're doing on that chamber by that amount because it's got to power its way through and it's going to do it that much harder. You also have more flame. There's literally flame behind that bullet eroding that material. It creates that much more heat. Again, heat is bad. Your first shot, okay, no big deal. Your second shot, okay, you've increased the wear. Third or fourth shot in a row, in a rapid fire routine, that heat has started to soften that metal just a touch. At some point, you start to see accelerated wear. You'll see this when people do mag dumps on AR-15s. You can burn up a barrel on an AR-15 in a few thousand rounds. Or you can burn up a barrel in 100,000 rounds. It just depends on how slow you shoot and if you're pushing that pressure limit. You fire 5.56, like mil-spec, NATO mil-spec ammo, and you do mag dumps or full auto for any length of time, a high percentage of your shooting, right? You are eating that barrel comparatively versus the guy who's doing slow fire, precision shooting, fires once and there's 10, 20, 30 seconds before the next shot. That is much less wear per round. Not for the first round, but after that. The progressive rounds each get worse and worse. And that's how you eat barrels. It isn't the main part of the barrel, it's the chamber area, it's the throat. It's that interface between where the bullet was sitting and where it's going. The other solution is to just back off. Back off that pressure a little bit, use a larger diameter bullet going a little slower, which is why things like 30-30 don't eat barrels. I mean, you can sort of rust or anything like that. Like you can look at a 30-30 barrel that is 75 years old and has been fired many, many times. And you clean it out and it looks almost new. You look at a 22-250, you look at a 270, although 270 isn't as bad as sometimes people think. So let's, 6 Creedmoor. 6 Creedmoor is going to eat barrels, right? Fast round, high pressure round in a very narrow little bullet. 224 Valkyrie is going to eat barrels comparatively. It's all comparatively. It's not that one is bad or good. It's just if you're comparing to a standard round in that category, say 223, 308, 30-30, like pick your standard point and what is worse or what is better. So, how do you know when you're having issues? And the answer is your accuracy falls off. So if you're not paying attention to that, you may not notice, and honestly, you're not going to care. This is one of those things where my barrel is worn out is personal to everybody. What level of performance do you demand from your barrel? Is it still accomplishing that? Is it better than it was? Is it broken in and improved slightly? Is it getting worse now? And the accuracy requirement for a service grade rifle doing service kind of stuff is pretty low. At least if you're talking, AR-15s, things like that. On the other hand, if you are a precision shooter shooting 4, 5, 6, 700 yards at targets that are barely hittable, where you got to do everything right in order to hit that target consistently. Throat erosion could be a very quick death. It could be that you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, done. And that barrel goes from I could hit that target the same as I could before to, you know what, I just can't. And I did everything right and the ammo's good and it's just not working within a few hundred shots. Or it could take 1,000 shots, but you'll see it happen. For a hunting rifle, you'll probably never see it happen because you're never going to fire enough shots fast enough for that to become a factor. This is why a lot of people think that like 243 doesn't do this, and they wonder why 6.5 Creedmoor, which is slower and similar diameter, has that issue. And the answer is very simply, people don't shoot 243 the way they shoot 6.5. 243. Let's run through the typical 243 rifle year. You go hunting in the fall. You shoot 10 rounds to zero it. Making sure it's still zeroed. You already did that years ago. Say, you shoot 10 rounds. You made sure it was zeroed. You had a little fun. You checked out some new ammo. That was probably 10 rounds. It's pretty typical, right? And then you've got the other half of that box of ammo to go hunting. And you shoot, say you shoot 3 shots all season. You get 2 deer. Okay, you're now at 13 shots for the year. I shoot 13 shots warming up with my 6.5. A PRS shooter might shoot 200 rounds in an afternoon at a session. Easy, like that's normal. That's years of wear for that 243. It's just never gonna get that kind of wear and tear. And it's not a matter of that it can't do it. You could absolutely shoot that 243 instead of the 6.5 Creedmoor. It'll do that job. It's not ideal for it, but it'll do it. And you could absolutely do a 6.5 the way I just described for the 243. If you buy a 6.5 Creedmoor hunting rifle and you're not using it for anything else, that's absolutely how it's going to go. Or whatever your version of that is. That is why things that are strictly used for hunting, not necessarily by everybody, but by a given person, those rifles tend to be in great shape. They shoot a few rounds, they clean them, they oil them, they put them away. So, that is it. We had a comment about this on a prior video recently, and I decided that it made a good topic because they asked a serious question, and they had good thoughts in their question. They presented it as, why does this do this if these don't? And the answer wasn't. I gave a short answer in the comment, but the answer isn't that simple. And there's a reason it confuses people because they think of it as speed. And really the answer is heat, pressure, and friction. So that is it. Take care. Have fun. Stay safe, y'all. And try not to wear out your barrels. Or have fun wearing them out. It's always a blast. Say hi. Oof. Oof. Oof.